trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record.
Welcome back. After 3 years from the last time I did an interview of a comedian.
Welcome back 3 years later.
3 years later.
Yeah, welcome back.
After that short hiatus, we're back. My first guest is a very good friend of mine. We have Miguel Rojas, or as some people call him, Miguel Rojas.
Yeah.
Or the lady at the Improv last night announced him as Miguel Rojas.
Yeah, she did, didn't she?
Yeah, Miguel Red.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is my guy Miguel, a longtime comedian, very funny guy. He's got movie credits, TV credits. He's performed, I would say, all over the country for the most part. You've done the casino circuit. You've been all over. Thank you so much for being here, dude.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Anything you want to say before we start?
I wasn't involved in the JFK assassination.
That's good.
Not at all.
That's
I wasn't
good.
even there, dude. Not at all.
I plead the fifth on that one.
Just throw that out there. Just get that out right
so
away.
I've curated some really intelligent questions for you.
Oh, good grief.
Who assassinated JFK? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you know
Lee
history.
Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, you know your history.
Where's my button?
You're gonna win this one.
I'm gonna win this one.
You're gonna win this.
Yeah,
this
they don't
trivia.
know about that, but Chris dogged me on a win that I should have had. We ain't gonna bring up old stuff, but I should have won.
Well, since he's bringing it up, so for anyone who doesn't know, like my YouTube channel, we had a couple seasons of a comedy show / trivia show. And Miguel lost. I mean, fair and square, but it was shitty internet. I think it was shitty enough internet that he went out and upgraded his internet.
I sure did.
So he could win on the next episode, which he didn't win.
I didn't win. I lost like a couple of points.
Couple of points, dude.
Yeah, a couple of points.
And we're still talking about it 3 years later.
Yeah. We still. Yeah, I'm not letting it go, bro. We're gonna be on tour. We're gonna be somewhere big, and I'm gonna be like, before you go out, I'm gonna be like, I should have won, bro.
Yeah.
Now go get him. You know what I'm saying?
Get him.
Go get him.
All right, so let's see. Like tell us about yourself, dude. Like for anybody who doesn't know who you are, like a little bit about you, your upbringing, your hometown, what makes Miguel Miguel?
From Los Angeles, California. I grew up in the hood, and I'm basically just a ghetto clown. I came from rough childhood. Parents, I'm a product of that 70s kid, I was born in 73. I'm old. But yeah, I just grew up in a rough neighborhood, rough environment. And, comedy was an escape. Laughter was an escape. And that's what I did. That was my mechanism. That's how I learned, how to avoid, the trauma that I know I have now that I'm older and more mature. I know I have this trauma, from childhood, but laughter was just a way to avoid it, a way to deal with it. It was, my dad was a rough dude, man. He was a rough guy, and my mom and dad fought, and you grow up in that environment. Being funny helps you cope. And my dad was funny. My dad was a funny guy.
Like deflect.
My dad was a really funny guy, dude. He told great stories, and my uncles told great stories. And as a kid growing up, I watched my uncles tell stories and my dad, and you want to emulate those people. And they always had the funniest stories, and they had the wildest story, whatever it was. They were talking about hunting or a fight or riding motorcycles. They always had these really funny stories. And, growing up, I loved Saturday Night Live, and, just comedy was always just who I was, part of what I was. And just, I think it took a while for me to really figure out like, oh, this is what I want to do. You know?
Have you always been a storyteller? Because you really incorporate a lot of that in your comedy.
Yeah, always. I think, and the thing, again, the thing with stories, now it's popular. Everybody wants to be like, oh, I'm a storyteller. When I tell my jokes, I like to tell stories. When I first got into this, everybody was just doing real quick ones. Everybody was like, not really one-liners, but they were just quick misdirection hit, and kept going. And I was a storyteller. Reason why, again, growing up in the neighborhood, you just kind of, those are the stories that you hear. You hear fun. Oh my God, you missed it. Oh, dude, you left. You shouldn't have left. And then, oh, what happened? And there's this big funny story about blah, 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 and the dog, and the guy got scared, and he jumped on top of the car, and the neighbor came out, and there's just punchline after punchline in these stories. And then you just grow up like that. And that's the way I grew up. So naturally, when I started telling comedy, I just started telling stories, stories about my family, stories about my grandma, stories about and didn't realize that I was a storyteller. I just was just doing what I had seen my whole life. Like, what I grew up with, what I thought was funny, watching people do stuff,
Right.
And then later you find out, like, oh, when you get in this, you go, oh yeah, like, oh, Eddie Murphy tells stories, Richard Pryor tells stories, like all these great comics, they were storytellers, you like, oh, Robin Williams told stories, but when you're watching it, you don't really realize that. But then once you get in the business, you figure out, I guess I'm a storyteller,
Yeah.
So that's just how I got into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, dude. Like, what drew you to comedy? Like, I mean, you talk about, your dad, your uncles, all them telling stories and everything, and obviously that's where you grew up listening to that and were able to emulate that, and that's your style. But, like, what were you doing up until that moment where you said, oh, yeah, I'm going to jump into comedy. I'm going to try stand-up?
I think I was always funny, no matter what. Jobs, I was always a smart ass. One of my funny memories is when I was a kid, my mom, she tells me, I guess I had gotten in trouble, and I didn't call, and I was supposed to call her, and then she was yelling at me. I was in the back seat, and she was like, "Why didn't you call me? You should have called me. Why didn't you call me?" And I just stood quiet. And my mom tells me, and I'm little, and my mom tells me the story that I told her, "Is this a trick question?" And she started laughing, and my dad started laughing, and he goes, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, if I say I forgot to call, I'm going to be in trouble because you're going to say, well, you should have remembered. But then if I said I remembered to call, but I just didn't call, then I'm in trouble because I ignored you and I didn't call because I wanted to stay at the park longer." So I feel like this is a trick question. And my mom was like, "Okay, that's your son." Like that's your son. That's it. And I think that's from a young age. That was like, how I got, I guess I was always funny, but growing up, I did a lot of dumb stuff. I didn't think I could be a comedian. I didn't know how to be a comedian. I didn't know how to be an actor. I knew I loved movies. I knew I could recite movies. I could recite things and lines in movies. I knew I loved comedy. I could recite jokes and I all that. But I didn't have that support. I didn't come from that. I came from, like, my dad was a welder. My mom worked at a glass company. You get to a certain age, you get a job. You change tires, or you learn to work on motors, or you get a job in a warehouse, and like that's what you do. There was no, hey, you could be an actor. Hey, you're funny. You could be a comedian. When I was young, I thought to be a comedian, like, you had to go through like special training. I thought you had to, like, go to like college, and there was a special college to go to, and they only selected a few, and there was like, like I didn't know that acting, you could be an actor. I didn't know. I thought, oh no, these guys were like, like picked handpicked,
Yeah.
you know, from the finger of God, you
Yeah.
know, like they were to me they were special, which they are, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you grew up knowing that there's kids out there going to school for acting,
Yeah.
why would you not think that the same?
Yeah.
You know, that's the same case for comedians.
Yeah, but in my environment, that wasn't encouraged, and that was never known. Like I didn't know, like you could go to school to be an actor. I didn't know you could take classes to be an actor. I didn't know you could take classes to be funny. I didn't know you could take a writing class. My thing was, hey, you get to a certain age, you're done with high school, you got to get a job.
Yeah.
You got to start helping out. You work, and then you're supposed to get married, and you're supposed to have kids, and then you're supposed to be the dad, and you're supposed to have a car payment, and you know, and that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
There's no, oh, you could go to Europe and travel. You take a year off of school and see the world. No, so my I guess my it was very limited. Neighborhood, enclosed, small world, very limited. I mean, yeah, there's an outside world, but your whole world is like that little area, you know? Yeah. So I didn't know. I was so naive, you know? Not until I got older. I think I was, I've been doing it for like 13 years. I got dared into it. And, you know,
you got dared into doing
comedy.
To getting up?
Yeah, to getting up.
Yeah. I
got dared into it. And
where were you at?
I was living in Orange County, and my boy Mondo dared me to. It was just he had a friend that was doing comedy. He invited me to go. Hey, let's go support this guy. Okay. I said okay, and I said okay, let's go. And we went, and I was like, is he funny? He was like, no, not really. And I was like, then why are we going? And he was like, oh, because we're supporting him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but why are we going? You know what I mean? Like, so I stood there. I went and we went and we watched all these comics, and Mondo was just like super cool. He was like, he went up to the main guy, and after the show, and he was like, hey man, how do you become a comic? Like, how do you get up? You know, and I was just standing there, and the guy was like, oh, you want to do comedy? He goes, oh no, not for me, for my buddy. This dude's like really funny. He's funny. And the guy was like, oh, and I was like, who's he talking about? You know what I mean? Like, who's your buddy that's funny, dude?
Just
like,
threw you under the bus.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm mean. I'm tough. Like, who's your friend that's funny, you know? And
who else did we come with?
Yeah, like where's he at, dude? And the guy was like, hey, you know what? Go write a joke, come back next week, and I'll put you up. And I didn't know what put you up, man. I didn't know any of that, you know. Yeah, so he said, like, we're here it was like a Saturday, you know. We're here every Saturday, you know. Okay. So it took months, dude. It took months.
Dude, you didn't go back the next week?
No, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. It was
probably smart.
Yeah, no, it took months, dude. And it was a lot of Mondo saying like, are you gonna do it? And I was like, nah, dude, I'm not doing that. Oh, okay. Oh, so you could ride motorcycles and you could be this tough guy, but you're scared to get on stage. You're scared to talk. And it was like a lot of baiting.
Talking shit.
Yeah, just talking a lot of shit, dude. And, and here I am, fat Mexican, chasing another fat Mexican around the truck, like, fuck you, dude. I'm not scared. And yeah, you are. And we're like two kids, dude, running around chasing each other around a paint truck, And finally, I wrote some dumb stuff down. My comedy birthday is the assassination of Osama bin Laden. So that's the first time I ever got up and did comedy. So I went. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was super nervous. Scared.
Anyone who says they weren't scared the first time they got on stage is fucking lying.
Yeah, they're lying.
They're lying.
Yeah. So I was just really scared, nervous. Waited around, And I thought I was just going to get up, like, hey, he's going to put me up. The guy was like, well, we have a show. After the show, I'll put you up. So I had to sit there through all the other comics. And, a lot of them were really good. They're killing it. A lot of these guys are like really good,
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I'm leaving. I was like, you know what, dude? Screw this. I'm done. I'm out. I'm just gonna leave, dude. And I was there by myself, parked my motorcycle on the right in front of the building, in front of the bar, and I was like, dude, I'm out, bro. I'm gone. So I start tiptoeing out, and I start, buttoning up my jacket, and I walk out and grab my helmet. And as I start to walk out, Mondo walks up and he goes, "Hey, what's up, dude? Did you get up already?" And I was like, "No. Not yet." He's like, "You're not leaving, are you?" And I was like, "Nah, dude, I just came out to check on the bike, just, he's like, no, I'm here, dude. Let's go. Let's get a drink. Come on. You're going to be funny." And that was it, dude. I went in and I was like, oh, crap. Now I have to do this because I can't rank out with this dude here. Now I have to do it.
You'll never hear the end of that one.
Yeah, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So waited around and the guy was like, all right, we got an open mic now after the show, and we're gonna sign up some people, and I was the first guy that got up, and really talked fast, no timing, no nothing,
Sure.
Just really bad, but I got a couple of laughs, and I did a joke about my daughter, and I did a joke about the assassination, and how long it took them to find him, and got a couple of laughs, and like that was really something when you get your first laugh.
Sure.
It's like, oof, it's hard to explain because a lot of people think they could do this. A lot of people think, oh, I'm funny. Yeah, you're funny with your friends, or you're funny at a party, but to walk up on a stage, grab a mic, and then just start talking and try to make people laugh is a different kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. So I got a couple of laughs, and after that, the main guy was Dave Nunez, and he just, he was like, "Hey man, you got a lot of natural, you're very natural on stage, and you have a lot of charisma, and you right away people were just like sucked into you, and you can control the stage," and telling me all these things that I knew nothing about. And he said, "Hey man, I'll help you write jokes. Like I'll teach you how to write a joke and structure it." And then I just got into it. And, if it wasn't for Mondo, I wouldn't have done TV. I wouldn't have done movies. And I always tell him, that I really appreciate and love him that he did that. Mondo's a tattoo guy. He has his own tattoo shop now, and he does his own stuff. And we're still, best friends. I was the best man at his wedding. And I tell him all the time, like, dude, if it wasn't for you, I would have never had any of these experiences.
Yeah.
Would have never had them. If he wouldn't have showed up, I would have got on my bike and just drove away.
Drove off if he wasn't there.
And this, I would have never met you.
Yeah.
I would have never experienced anything that I've experienced. And, I kind of felt like when I started experiencing these things, I really realized how sheltered I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just how living in LA, the movie capital, and the entertainment capital of the world, I had no idea how I was just so shunned.
Yeah.
And just blocked off from everything, so.
Yeah, because technically, going back to your other point, as far as going to school for comedy, you realize, as far as art, education is important, I think.
Yeah.
It's very important. But you have, education of the streets, which in comedy is just going out there and learning by doing.
Yeah.
You can go and take a class on how to structure a joke. But there's no barrier to entry other than yourself, right? Acting, comedy, you don't have to go to school for it. And you were right here this whole time.
Yeah.
And you could have started at 18. You could have started at 19, but you didn't know.
Yeah.
And it took years before you realized, wait, I can do that?
Yeah.
And then you got to dip your toe in it and realized, wow, I want this.
It was just so weird that I lived this, what I felt like was a whole life, maybe 2 lives,
Yeah.
maybe even 3 before I got involved in this, and never knew, that I was any good at this, that I had, I was always funny. I knew I was funny. I knew I could make people laugh, and I was the life of the party, and I always had a good joke, or, always had a good story to tell about something, and we would always crack up, but didn't know I could do this. And, finding out there's little milestones that any artist has to come across. There's little things that you crosses you have to bear, things you have to overcome. The first time I ever went on a theatrical audition, first one ever, I got the role. First one ever, dude.
Impressive.
And I didn't.
A lot of actors hate him now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm saying this to display how naive I was.
Yeah.
No acting experience, other than lying to the cops or ex-girlfriends, bullshitting my way out of things. Got the script, looked at it, didn't know really how to read a script, kind of just knew I liked television and movies, and I had favorite, actors and stuff like that. Went to this audition, did it, and got it.
Nice.
First audition I ever went on, I won the role. And like a jerk, let's tell you how naive I was. I do the first scene, right? And the director goes, can you do one more? And I go, okay. And he goes, okay, you stand here. And he stands here, you say to him. And I was like, okay. So I do it. I didn't even know the guy was a director. Can you do one more for me? I said, okay, sure. I ended up doing like 5 scenes. And the 6th one, he asked me, can you do one more? And in my head, I'm thinking, well, am I acting out the whole movie? Like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? I gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been here for a while, bro. Like, not knowing that when they start asking you to do extra scenes, it's because they're interested. Because they like you and they want to see how you take direction. They want to see you in different scenes because they want to put you in different settings to see how you're going to react to this.
Yeah.
They want to see you on the fly. They gave me a paper. Oh, here's some other lines. Can you just learn these real quick and then we'll run them, because they want to see how you're going to be, But I was so naive. I was just like, come on, dude. Come on. I already did 5. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get home now. You know what I mean? I'm just dumb. Didn't know. So, just naiveness, and then left, did Ice House that night. Next day, I'm with my manager. Got a call, a Facebook. They found me on Facebook. They lost my information, but they remembered my name, found me on Facebook, and sent me a message telling me I won the
audition.
that I won the role.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, dude, this is. But I thought it was going to be like that all the time,
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, I'll just go to every audition and win the role. Like, I did it the first time. I just repeat and rinse, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny, dude. Has the comedy scene changed since you got in, and if so, how?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. When I first got in, the biggest thing was you got to get Facebook. You need a Facebook, dude. If you don't have Facebook, like, what are you doing in comedy?
Yeah.
And now it's you got to have Facebook, Instagram. You got to have the other Instagram. You got to have the Twitch, this, that, a TikTok. You got to put up 5 videos a day if you really want to get people following you. Then you got to get on this one and that one. I mean, it's just like, I Facebook was the biggest one for me. It was like, getting on Facebook and trying to like get booked on Facebook, write a joke. And then it was Twitter. Oh, you got to get on Twitter and write a joke every day. Every day you got to put one joke on Twitter. That's how you get discovered.
If we looked you up on Twitter, do you have stuff on there from 10 years ago or no?
Yeah, I have a Twitter, but I didn't never put jokes on there. I was like, no, I'm not gonna give my jokes away. Always like, no. I've always been real insecure about it.
Yeah,
I've always been real weird about YouTube and real weird about putting videos out, and been real apprehensive about like.
it's funny you say that because like I run into people all the time, and you probably do too. There's people who hugely support putting their content online, like they're just their jokes, and their argument is if I put it online, I basically am putting a timestamp and a date stamp on it, claiming it's mine. So after this point, if someone else repeats it, I can call them out on it. And then there's the other people who are like, if I put it online and putting it out before I become a big star, I'm in essence giving away my material for other people to take.
So when I first started coming up, there was there was that you put the joke on Insta or Twitter, or Facebook, and then there's a date, and that was like the poor man's copyright that you did it first, right? Okay. A lot of guys I knew were doing that. I was not one of them. I was always leery and scared that my material would be stolen. I did a joke about getting recognized, and I think it's on YouTube. Did this joke about getting recognized at Disneyland and being with my daughter, blah, blah, blah. My buddy is in Sacramento. I believe it's Sacramento Punchline. Okay. My buddy's
Punchline Comedy Club.
Yeah, Punchline Comedy Club. Yep. Sacramento, I believe it's in Sacramento. He's doing a show up there. He sees this kid from Sacramento who's doing this joke, and my joke started off with, "Hey, I haven't been doing comedy that long, but I get recognized, and I was at Disneyland." This guy's joke was, "Hey, I haven't been doing comedy that long, but I get recognized. I was at the mall." And my buddy was sitting there and watched this guy do my whole entire joke. He just changed Disneyland
to the mall.
Yeah. And then he called him out on it. He was like, "Hey, that's my buddy's joke."
That's a good friend, by the way. Someone who will call someone else out.
Yeah, he called him out on it, dude, and was like, "Hey, dude, that's my buddy's joke. That's my buddy from LA. That's his whole joke, dude. You saw that online." And when that happened to me, that was like a big fear, like, oh, dude, because you put it out. How do you know this kid from Cleveland? How do you know this dude from Texas, this guy in Florida, doesn't see it and then go, "Man, this is pretty good, but I can make it better."
Yep.
And you wrote 70% of it. How do you know this dude's not tearing Florida up on your material?
Yeah.
He's just crushing out there. Yeah. They don't know who you are. You're not that big of a name. You're not that big of a star. It's not like you're Dave Chappelle and you put something out, and then it's hard to steal from big top names. But guys on my level or even lower where I was, it's simple. It's simple to steal that. You live in wherever, Seattle, and you're just crushing the club scene with it. Yeah. You're talented. You took my base and then you ran with it. So I had that happen to me. I had a joke that got taken from me that I did at the Comedy Store that ended up on SNL. And that was like, that was a real eye-opener. It was my whole joke. Somebody saw me do it at the store. It was probably a writer, took it, and it went on SNL.
Yeah.
And you know what? That one, I did not get mad. That one, I sat back and I patted myself on the back. I said, dude, I was good enough to get on there.
So the SNL joke, you weren't upset?
No,
so
dude,
much.
when I saw and here's the funny thing, when I saw the SNL joke, a few of my friends called me. Dave called me, a couple other people called me. They said, "Bro, did you see SNL? That's your joke." And I was excited, dude. I was so happy.
I wouldn't have been.
No, dude, I was excited because for me, it was like a stamp. For me, it was like, hey, I wrote that. Someone stole it.
Someone thought it was.
It had to go into a room. It had to get passed through the writers.
Yeah.
Then they wrote a script, and then they actually had someone act it out.
And then like someone like Lauren Michael has to
approve it.
Yeah.
So it made me feel like, hey, dude, I had a joke that was good enough that someone stole and got on SNL. Like, I know it might sound dumb to other people, but for me, I felt like, oh, dude, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had a couple of, other jokes taken by bigger comics. I had one other one taken, and I was like, I'm not going to, it's hard to fight someone that's like that high up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I took it as almost like oh, okay, like I'm doing the right thing. Because this guy, kind of heard my stuff, and then he decided to run with it, and he just did his own. I'm like, okay, take it, fuck it, And But I looked at it as, maybe naively, but I looked at it as, hey, maybe I have talent, maybe I am good, maybe I am doing the right thing. And now I learned, you make a joke your own so much that no one could take it. You make it a joke so much that it's your personality, that it's your being, your essence, that if anyone tries to steal it, any decent comic is going to go, hey, dude, that's Miguel Rojas, bro. I know that he's into World War II history. I know he's always talking about that. I know this dude always no, dude, you didn't come up with that, bro. Yeah. That sounds like him, dude. You know what I mean? So you got to just make it so much you that it's impossible for someone to take it.
Yeah.
So that's just what my outlook on
like
that.
My 9/11 costume.
The 9/11 joke, yeah. So anyone do the 9/11 joke? That's so much you that it would just be obvious.
Yeah.
It's like someone trying to do my Dodger joke.
Yeah, it'd be very obvious.
It would just be very obvious to anyone in the LA comedy scene. Anybody who's seen me in Vegas, anybody who's ever seen me anywhere else, they would go, oh, no, wait a minute, dude. I know this joke. I know the guy who did this joke, you know? So you got to just, I think that's part of writing and putting that personal touch into your writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite thing about comedy? Like that one thing that gets you out of bed for comedy?
I the thing about that I love about it is, it's no matter how good you think you are, you could have a bad night. It's you're walking on a tightrope with no net, no matter how much this material, one word can send it one way or the other. For me, honestly, it's as much as I like to think I love to make people laugh, as much as I like to think I enjoy hearing the laughter, as much as I like to say that and try to be cool, what it really is, it's if I didn't have comedy, I'd really be fucked. I'd really be lost.
Yeah.
Comedy gets me out of bed because it's more therapeutic for me. During the pandemic, I did a show at a church with some pretty big name comedians.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Burr, Jay Moore, some pretty big comedians. Silver Lake at a church in a little square, an outdoor show. Yeah. And because that's how much comics need that. And you think, oh no, I'm doing it to make people laugh, and I'm doing it because I'm an entertainer, and because I got all this stuff in my head that I got to get out. It's because I'm damaged and I need your approval.
Yeah.
I need strangers' approval.
Yeah.
I need strangers to laugh. I need people that I've never met. I need to walk out there and I need to tell them this is my outlook on this and this is how I think about this, and hear that laughter, because that laughter fixes what's broke inside of me.
Yeah. I think that's very relatable. I don't know how many comedians could say they relate to that. I can relate to that. I think it is the essence of being, getting a stranger's approval, getting their affection through laughter, getting the applause. I mean, I came from, found out that my dad who raised me wasn't my real dad, and I found out when I was 16. And I feel something broke that day inside me, and I've been searching for acceptance ever since.
Yeah.
It's always been why did my dad leave me? Why did he leave my mom? Like, why didn't... I don't know. It was just something that's always lingered in the back of my mind. I've fought with that many times in my life. And I feel like when you're on that stage and you're up there trying to get just a little bit of acceptance, like, Chris Kidder is okay, and the world needs, like, it's almost like saying, like, my life matters.
Here and here's the thing. I don't know if comedians will admit this or not. And then I'm at the point where I really have looked at this. Don't get me wrong, I love the audience. I love making the audience laugh. I love when they come up to me and they ask me for a picture or an autograph, or they want to, they just want to talk to me. They want to tell me, oh, you remind me of my uncle, man. My uncle's funny like that. God, you remind me of my older brother, whatever the case is. I love that. But there is something about getting the respect from your peers. There's something, at least with me, there's something about when you walk off and the booker comes up and he goes, man, great job. Like, what are you doing on the 28th? Can I get you booked on the 28th? And you're like, dude, I just got a booking from this performance. There's something about, the first time I ever met Jay Moore. Here's a guy that I watched on Saturday Night Live, watched his movies, dude. He was in Jerry Maguire, watched all his stuff, And the first time I ever performed with them, and he fist bumped me.
Yeah, I saw that. I was there.
Yeah, you were there. And he was like, dude, you're fucking funny, and beat up my hand. By the way, he beat up my hand.
Hey, he
Boxing. He boxed my hand. Dude, I was so, like, high, just being able to say I performed with certain people, and being able to say that, throughout the years, and Whitney Cummings, she probably doesn't remember me, but one time we were at the Comedy Store and I went on before her, and I came off and she said, hey, that was really good. That was really good. Good job. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is when you see these guys.
I feel like, okay, I'm sorry, just to intervene. Isn't that kind of like being a freshman and having a senior kind of go like, hey, bro, you're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
It's and here's the thing.
That's what I feel like it is.
And here's the thing. People are going to tell you, like, you're supposed to be cool, and you're like, you're not supposed to be a fanboy or anything like that. No, and like, I see these guys and I talk to them normally, hey, what's up, Jay, or hey, what's going on? They're like Daryl Hammond, him and I talk about prescription medication every time we see each other. Hey, how's your heart doing? Him and I always go back and forth about what pills we're on, but there is, and I'm sorry, there's a side of me that when you come off stage and those guys say, hey, that was great. You killed them. You did great job, Miguel. And they give you a fist bump. It's like, wow, dude. Like, yeah, those are the fucking seniors, those are, and I'm just a little freshman, and they're like, hey, way to go, kiddo, and you're just real like, man, this is awesome, hey, thanks, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is like, it just, there's a part of me, and the same thing with acting.
Yeah.
I've done some stuff with some big people, and they've said, "Hey, you're really good, man. Like, where did you study?" And I was like, nowhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I never took an acting
The
class in my
streets.
life, you know, never, but for them to say, "Hey, good job." I did a scene one time. I was shooting with Fox, did a scene one time, messed up the scene. And most people will say, "Oh, can we start over?" And they hate that. You know, I said, "Hey, no. I told everyone in the crew, no. Don't stop the camera. I got this. I got it. Just give me a second. 3, 2, 1." And they jumped into it. When that scene was over, they clapped.
Yeah.
People walked up and fist bumped me. And they said, "Dude, this is a professional. That's how you do it. Did you guys see this? Miguel Rojas, that's how you do it. Way to go, bro." You know, and I didn't realize what I did until, my manager told me later, like, "Hey, bro, you know what you just did? Like, you showed these people that you belong here, that you're a professional. You didn't say, 'Oh, stop, can we start over?' You were like, 'No, I got this.'" And you took your deep breath, you counted it down for editing, and you jumped right into it. So, yeah, those things are I think that for me, those are important things, for just when you go to a club and people know your name, when you walk in and people dab you up, those are important things, because
Absolutely.
for me, the respect from those guys, because those guys are hustling, those guys are breaking their ass, those guys are writing, those guys are trying to get to the next level, those guys are up late at night trying to figure out how to make this funny, put a new tag in it. So when you get those guys respect, then I feel like that's as important, if not maybe even more important than making the crowd laugh.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Making the crowd laugh is dope, but having their respect is like a different level.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
It's validation, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Next question. Most interesting or most vivid encounter you've had in comedy to date?
What do you mean, like most
interesting? Like what's the most interesting thing that you've done or have encountered or personal story?
I think without for me, sitting with some of these guys and talking about kids, sitting with some of these big comedians and not even talking comedy, just talking life.
Yeah.
Just talking about, "Hey, what do you drive?" "Oh, I have a Range Rover." "Do you like it?" "I had one." And you just get into this regular conversation,
Yeah.
and it's, yeah, of course, they're regular people. Of course they are,
Talking to Daryl Hammond about taking pills.
Yeah, talking about, Daryl Hammond about my heart, and then my blood pressure pills. But those to me have been those have been like those moments, those are those moments that I treasure when they tell you, "Hey, if you know this book, you should read this book. Here, let me see your phone. I'm gonna put it in there. Go check this book out." And it's like, they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's on a different level.
Yeah. It's thoughtfulness.
It's a different kind
it's
of
thoughtfulness, and I think too it also it makes these people who seem untouchable. They're these people who live in another world, or we like to think they do, and makes them personal, makes them real, and I think it's nice being in that bubble for a second.
It's really, I guess one of the first times I ever saw myself on a billboard, that was surreal.
Yeah.
That was surreal. First time I ever saw myself on a billboard, that was something. And those things I've always just cherished those moments. I never took them for granted. First time my name was in a marquee. First time my name was ever in a marquee was Madhouse San Diego. And they put my name up. Tonight, Miguel Rojas, I walked up and I was doing the Madhouse. I was in San Diego, and I walked up and I saw it, dude. I was shocked. I took pictures.
Yeah, of course.
Picture of it. I stood underneath it, took a picture. And it was just, just somebody grabbed a stick and they just put, Miguel Rojas. They spelled it right, and it was just, to me, that was like, again, part of that validation,
Of course.
But you see yourself on a billboard, you pull up to it, and you park and you get out and you see this giant billboard and your face is just plastered right off of Highway 83. You know what I mean? Like, you just...
Yeah, I think that would be dope. Like being on one of the signs on your way to Vegas.
Yeah, it is like, wow. Like, you go into a casino, they had a picture, and they put it in the green room,
Yeah. That's dope.
Those things are, again, people say validation. To me, those things have been like, part of the journey of, okay, I'm doing the right thing. When I started, I put myself on a strict timeline. I'm going to give myself X amount of years to do this. If I'm not doing this by this time, I'm going to quit. I pushed myself and I worked, and I was getting up three times a day. I would get off of work and I'd go hit 3 open mics, and then I was doing shows and I was hitting mics and trying to get good, trying to get better, trying to get good, trying to get fast, trying to learn, pushing myself, pushing and figuring it out. I didn't even know what an agent was. I didn't know what I thought a manager controlled everything. I didn't know a rep. I didn't know what you need a theatrical rep and you need a commercial rep. I thought it was just, one guy handled everything. I was naive, bro.
Of course.
Learning it, pushing yourself, trying to figure it out, trying to move the pieces in your brain, moving the puzzle, moving it, getting the Rubik's Cube and trying to figure it out. And I got to a point where, when you have those conversations with these, like, people that have been on SNL, people that have done Madison Square Gardens, when you have these conversations, and your conversation is, you have 4 cats? That's crazy. I have 1. That, and you're like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a cat dad, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, that's like, yeah, dude, that's surreal. That's like all that work, all of that, and now I kind of feel like I'm in the club. I kind of feel like, that acceptance. You walk up to, improv, and they let you in, and the security hugs you, and they know your name. You go to the Comedy Store, you don't even know those guys, and they go, some guy comes up and he goes, hey, that's Miguel Rojas. He's a comic. Let him in.
Yeah.
And I never met the guy in my life, and that's like, I don't take that for granted.
Sure.
To me, that's like, wow. Like, this is all that hard work. It's easy to get caught up. It's easy to let it go to your head. But at the same time, it's just like, wow, this is dope, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is from me just coming up with some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Making people laugh, and people looking at you going, I like what that guy does.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of comedy, dude. And I'm really bad at knowing people's names, but I'm
we all
really
know.
good. Yeah, but I'm really good at knowing your bit.
Yeah.
If I know your bit, to me, that, in my book, that's like better than knowing your name.
Well, it's
I know
respect.
your bit.
It's respect.
It's respect. Like,
it's funny enough for you to remember.
Yeah, like, hey man, oh yeah, you do the joke about Old Spice. Oh my god, dude, that's so funny, dude. I might like not know your name, or it slipped my mind, but I know that you're funny, and I know you do that Old Spice joke, or you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, dude, that's great. I think that's that's the community that helps. That helps people.
Yeah.
All
right, for all the new comedians out there, I guess this is for all the new comedians. If you were a comedian starting today, 2024, or let's say if Miguel Rojas was starting today, knowing all that you know in the last 13, 14 years, like, what are 3 things that you would tell yourself to do today? Like, what are 3 tips for a comedian starting today?
Like, I hate to say this, dude. the 3 tips, I would say,
don't do it.
Yeah. Be as original as you can. Honestly though, comedy has changed from when I started to where it's at. Sure. It's changed. The joke stealing. When I started, if someone had a joke about microphones, you could not do a microphone joke. You just couldn't, because people would look at you like, "Oh, dude, you're stealing from that guy." Like, it over the years, it's like, well, you don't own the rights to microphones, and now, you do a microphone joke that's pretty funny. People want to do, and now you got 10 comics doing a microphone joke in their own way, and you don't own the rights to that. I think, be as original as you can, but if you're gonna make it, here's what you really got to do. You've got to do the work. And it's not even about being funny anymore. It's not even about making people laugh anymore. It's about TikTok. It's about YouTube. It's about having a podcast. It's about having a short skits. It's about having, when you do a show, getting emails. It's about tracking people down, having phone numbers, remembering names, texting people, getting people out to your shows. When you first start, all your family's going to come. When you first start, all your friends are going to come. They're going to support you. You're going to make people laugh. You're going to think you're funny, and you're going to think you're making people laugh, but you're really not, because those are just your family and friends supporting you. When you,
Miguel.
Yeah, when you go outside of your area.
Yeah.
You live in San Diego, and you go all the way up to Portland, and you can make Portland laugh, and you didn't know anybody. You live in LA, and you went to Texas, and you can make people laugh. Now you got something going on.
Sure.
You can travel halfway across the country and make people laugh. Okay, you got something going on. If you're starting off, it is so much work. There's so much everyday posting on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, the short, YouTube, my channel, follow me, subscribe, because it's not what it used to be. It's not, the clubs don't care if you're funny. And that's the truth.
They just want to know if you're going to market their
club
to 200,000 people.
They want to see what your numbers are.
Yeah.
And acting, believe it or not, has started falling into that same category where studios are looking at your social media.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have?
We don't care if you're a good actor. If you have 2 million followers on TikTok, they'll give you a role. Because you're going to
announce
influence
it on TikTok, and 2 million people are going to follow that whatever you did.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, because I run into, and just to be fair, I don't consider myself an old head, or I don't consider myself a new head. I don't consider myself, I'm just a comic. I'm trying to figure how to do this 52 weeks out of the year, I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Make it the full-time gig.
Make it a full-time everything. And I've had a chance to do it full-time. I've had a chance to do acting. And it just, I fell off because it wasn't consistent enough. And I'm still trying to figure out how to book that whole calendar, But for new comics, it's a lot of work. You're not entering where funny was those stories where the club saw you and they're like, I like this kid.
Yeah.
He has something. Let's bring him up every night. Let him develop here. Let him do. No, it's not that no more.
Yeah.
It's, he has 17.5 gazillion followers on TikTok. Oh yeah, let's bring them in. And then you do, and I've done shows with these guys, and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying they're like, I've had encounters where they're not funny.
They're not funny, and not one person showed up to the club to see them either.
No one showed up.
You know, I've done shows too with several very large influencers, like millions of followers.
Yeah.
And they went to a club, and there's like 12 people in the audience, and you could tell who they came with because they're hanging out with those people after the show.
Yeah.
And that person who's the 2.5 million followers gets off stage and quietly ducks out of the back of the club.
Yeah. And it's not their fault because they're just trying to make it too. You know, they're trying to make it too. It's not their fault, but they didn't do the work that it took to learn to be funny, to make the eyes, the hand gestures, the face, the pauses, the breaths, knowing how to take a beat, knowing how to let the crowd laugh and let the laughter die. If you're new and you're going to start this, you know, you study the greats, study, learn to make people laugh, but also understand that this is work. This is not...
Absolutely.
It's a grind. Show business. This is business.
Business, bro. Dude. That's funny. The 80-20. 20% is on stage. The other 80% is the shit you don't want to do. That's why I vlog about it daily now, because I want everyone out there. You want to be a comedian? Follow my boring ass YouTube channel. I like how I'm plugging it as boring. But it's the fucking grind every day of I got to write jokes. Oh shit, I got to pick up the kids. Oh shit, I still got to take the trash out.
Let me say this, because I really want people to hear this. If you're really thinking about this as a life and you want to get involved, you know, you said 80% is doing things you don't want to do and 20% is the stage. I almost disagree, bro. It's like 5% is stage time. 5% is making people laugh. 95% is all the work. 5% is getting up and being funny. 95 is all the work. But here's the main thing. If you're a new comic, this is what it is. What is your number? That is the biggest thing. Before you get into this business, you need to ask yourself, what is your number? How much money do you need to survive? Because if your number is a big number, you're going to have a hard time trying to do comedy. And
okay, real quick, let's touch on that. Like when you say your number, you mean number to
your
rent, like a side job to pay for your bills and everything, because you're not going to make shit in comedy.
Yeah, like what is your number, dude?
Yeah.
Because if your number is like, hey, all I need to come up with is $1,500 a month, and I can live because I'm living in this bachelor and I only pay $800, and with all my bills, it's another blah, 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 and food. I only need to come up with this number, whatever that number is. Okay, cool. The lower the number, the better chance you're going to have.
Sure.
Because if your number is bigger, it's going to take longer. There's a lot of comics, and I won't say their names. I'm not going to do that to them. But there's a lot of comics that I know that have specials on Comedy Central, that are, you know, Comedy Store regulars, that are regulars at Improv. And what people don't know about them is that they sleep on a couch at their parents'. They live at their mom and dad's house. These are people in their 30s that are living on the couch because their number has to be so low so they can go out and they got a Nissan 4-cylinder, runs really good. Their uncle gave it to them. They're not in some Porsche. They don't got a car payment. This is what they had to do to get to it. Because if your number is, hey, I got to come up with $2,200 to pay my rent, and then I got to come up with $700 for my car payment and my insurance, then I got to come up with $200 for my cell phone, then I got to come up with $200 for groceries a week, and then I got to come up with the light to get. Bro, your number is going to be it's going to be hard.
Well, I know what my number is. Do you know yours?
Yes, I do.
Mine is $2,300 a month.
Yeah. Is yours 23?
Yeah, what's yours?
22.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We're $100 difference?
Yeah, we're $100 difference.
Bro, dude, can I get $50 and we'll both be $22.50?
Right there, we'll be half and half. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing because, like, I know guys, dude, and I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say, I know guys
Yeah.
that are,
Well, somebody, I mean, here's the thing too. Like I've learned too. It's funny you mentioned about having a special, but these people still live on the couch at mommy and daddy's house. Just because the last 2 years, like all of a sudden it got real trendy. Like you have to have a special.
Yeah.
And guess what? 10 minutes is a special now if you record it and put it on the internet. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not. No.
No, it's not. And just because you went to a studio where they recorded it and they put it on an app doesn't make it a special.
Yeah.
15 minutes is not a special.
Yeah.
20 minutes is not. You know what a special is? An hour. That's a special. And here's the thing, like, there are people, and I'm okay with calling them out, but like, there's people on here that pay money to record their special, and then they put it on Amazon Prime. Yeah. And Amazon Prime says, okay, after you get 50,000 views, we'll start giving you 10 cents a view.
Yeah.
That kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not a special, dude. Like, but it's a way for you to go around claiming you have a special, I guess. Or maybe you have a special, but there's nothing special about your special. You know what I mean? You worked your ass off to get recognized. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like,
and that's part of the comedy that's changed. That's part of it. Like, when I started, when you got a special, it's because, you were doing Showtime or HBO or Comedy Central, and you didn't make any money off of that special.
Yeah.
You didn't make any money. The money you made was from that being televised, and then you being able to get bookings across the country.
And selling your merch and all that stuff. And
selling your merch at these places because you're the guy that they saw Crooked Man Don't Walk Straight on the HBO special or the Showtime, so on and so forth. Right? Okay. And
then while you're out touring, you're building your next material for your next special. Yeah.
Okay. Now people are doing this where they're shooting it themselves. Yeah. God bless them. Yeah, do it. That's awesome. And then, like you said, they're paying Netflix. They're basically paying Amazon to run it, and they're saying, "Hey, look, if you get this many views, then we'll start giving you 3 cents a month." And you're hoping that you can say that, but comics know. People know, dude. And another thing is everybody's watching everybody.
Yeah.
You're watching him. He's watching you. She's watching her. She's watching me. I'm watching her. Everybody's looking at everybody, what they're doing. Yeah. Everyone is watching what the other one's doing. You could get jaded. You could get caught up in it. When I know people and they go and do something, I love to send them you know what, you deserve it, bro, because I know how hard you've been working, and I see you in the clubs because I've been there with you, and you're grinding away on a Tuesday with 20 people in the audience, and you're working on your stuff, and you know what, bro, congratulations, because you deserve it.
Sure.
You got your head above the water. Hell yeah, bro. I can't say that for everyone. There's certain communities in comedy where they're crawdads and they're just trying to pull you back in the bucket.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you crawl out of it.
Sure, of course.
There's comics that'll be like, hey, why don't you come on?
And comedians are miserable as hell. They say misery loves company, and that is definitely true in this industry, dude. That's why I try to circle myself around go-getters, people who are super ambitious, think outside the box, people who are genuinely, who I think are fun to be around.
Yeah.
Happy people to be around, and not jaded people, because there's just so many in this business, and I'm trying not to be around that shit. So real quick, just to recap, what are the 3 things? Be original.
Yeah.
Work 90. It's 95.5. 95% of it is the business side of it. Posting to all your social media, doing all the work, the email, newsletters, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so be prepared to do that if you're a new comic. What's the third one?
And knowing your number.
Knowing your number. All right. This last part I like to call manifest comedy. I'm going to start doing this with all of my interviews. Manifest comedy. Give me 3 things you're going to do in the next 3 years.
Not have to go to my day job is 1.
So that's a not I want to do. So what are you going to do in the next 3 years?
What am I going to do? I'm gonna be super famous, bro. What do you mean?
Okay.
Freaking
Super famous.
super famous.
Miguel.
No, my idea of fame is just being able to pay my rent with laughter. That's my idea.
Okay,
And in
so
3 years,
so
I'm gonna-
when you said he doesn't want to work his job, the one thing is be self-sufficient,
Yes.
being paid as a comedian.
yes, and
Second.
as a working actor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think 3 years from now, I want to be a writer. I love the idea. We wrote some stuff together.
We've written a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, we have. Well, we wrote Kidder, and we have ideas for writing other things. I love the creative aspect of the writing. I love trying to figure out how to put Easter eggs and things. I love trying to figure out how to wait. We got to go back. We got to put this in here. You know, I love that writing because it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
You know, I think 3 years from now, I'm gonna be full-fledged, functioning. 52 weeks a year, just working,
As
not
an
having
artist.
to go, just working,
As an artist.
just
yeah.
as an artist.
Okay.
Yeah, just that's all I want. And my idea, I don't have to be the GOAT. I don't have to be Dave Chappelle. I don't have to be those kind of guys. I have to be happy with me.
Okay.
And I think that's if you, it's great to set your sights as high as you want, but you have to be happy with you.
Sure.
You have to be. If you can make yourself happy, then you won.
Okay.
You know.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And so those are the three things?
Yeah.
Self-sufficient comedian, self-sufficient actor, self-sufficient writer. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So that's our interview with Miguel Rojas. Miguel, as we leave the studio here, where can people find you, physically, virtually, whatever you want to tell them?
The real Miguel Rojas on Instagram is where I do most of my posting and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'll put that all here on screen
and then,
too.
I think my Twitter is. What is my Twitter? I think my
Where he
Twitter's the
posts
same
no
thing.
jokes.
Where I post no jokes. Twitter, I think it's really funny. Or X.
X.
It's called X. On X, I think I'm a troll, bro. Because I just get on X. I don't really post, but I just kind of look at everything
Yeah.
on X. I just kind of take it all in. It's just really funny to me. Like Instagram, I feel like I'm a part of Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm constantly posting, But on X, I think I'm just I think I'm a troll. I just scroll. I just watch.
Yeah.
I'm
I can't do Twitter, dude. I don't know what it is. I have a Twitter. I have
do
a
you?
Twitter account. Yeah, of course
Yeah.
I do. I think somewhere in my brain years ago, I was 140 characters.
Yeah.
That's stupid. And I just
Yeah.
kind of, And I've posted stuff there, or when I cross-platform post. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna post something on TikTok and Instagram
Sure.
Reels, I'll usually post it on
Do all of
Twitter
them.
as well. I just kind of do all of them, right?
Yeah.
It's easy. But then I'll go, a few days later, I'll look. It'll have one like, or won't even have any likes. I'm like, what am I doing
On
here?
X?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's just
It's very.
when you see that, you're just like,
it's very snooby.
what am I doing?
It's very snooby to get likes on there. No, I like Instagram. The real Miguel Rojas. That's where I do most of my work. I don't even go on Facebook. And it's really funny when I post on Instagram. For some reason, it goes on Facebook
Because they're owned.
Yeah, I guess I don't really. I was like, oh, okay.
That's an automatic thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I like the Instagram. I enjoy Instagram. Like I said with the X, I just think it's funny, dude. I go on there and I see some of the wildest stuff on there, dude. And I'm just reading these crazy posts and seeing these weird videos, and it's like a madhouse, dude.
Yeah, of course.
And it's I don't know. I guess I don't know if that's.
Well, I
being
think
a troll.
once Elon took over, it became the wild, wild west of the internet. You know what
It's
I mean?
crazy, dude. I love
yeah.
it. Okay. I post on Instagram, but X, I love being just seeing like the traffic.
Yeah.
I'm not driving the car. I'm just watching the people driving. You know what I mean?
You're on the sideline watching the parade.
Yeah. I'm just watching the parade like, woohoo! Oh, look at that one. You know what I mean? That's how I am on X. Wait, what? You know what I mean? I had to rewind it. Let me look at this again. Holy crap. And like, they allow this? You know what I mean? Like, this is dope. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. I love it, dude. I'm so addicted. Like, even my daughter will be like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm on X. Why? I'm like, dude, wait, can I show you? Yeah. I'm just like, look at this one. You know?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. It cracks me up.
Well, awesome, dude. Well, thanks for doing this.
Oh, of course.
Thanks for being a part of the interview reboot 2.0. It's so silly. Like you know what's funny is over the last 2 months, that I've really jumped back into YouTube and vlogging and everything. I've ran into 3 different comedians that I don't talk to like often at all. 3 of them. Recently, this last week, I was at Christine Peake's birthday bash. It was a comedy show and everything. And I love her. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. But this comedian, her name's Tash. She came up to me and she's like, "Oh, hi, Chris Kidder." I kind of know her. Like, we've met each other, I think, like 3 years ago. But she just came up to me. She's like, "Hi, Chris Kidder." She's like, "I love your YouTube channel. Oh. It's so awesome. I love what you're doing, vlogging and everything. And I really loved your interviews you were doing a few years ago. Those were great." But she was the 3rd person to say that to me in the last 2 months. Random people coming up to me. And I was like, I haven't interviewed anyone. I haven't. Like, I enjoy it. And I think there's a lot of knowledge we learn on our path. Yeah, that we can share. And if I'm going to have this platform, why not share that information to people? I think it's super important. It's kind of a way of passing the baton. This channel is free for anyone to watch, but if comedians can watch this and get a little bit out of it, I feel like that's a good thing. Because I know I'm always on the youtube.edu, education. I'm a YouTube college person all the time. Oh, how do you fix a pipe? YouTube.
You know what's really funny? That part of you has like really rubbed off on me.
Is it?
Yeah, because it really has, dude, and to the point where I think
AI. How do I punish my child?
It really has, because I've had some stuff where I was just I even was like, just go on YouTube. Just go on. Just look at the tutorial. It'll tell you how to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is just like, that's rubbed off on me. Like, but
that's the thing with YouTube. I feel like there's no subject that hasn't been touched. You know what I mean?
It's a cascade.
Yeah, like how do I prune a dandelion? Trust me, someone made a video.
Someone made a video.
How to prune a fucking weed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone did.
Someone did. Yeah. I guarantee it. You know, so. Yeah. I think that's why I love it. And, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing with comedy. There's so much content on YouTube for comedy. There's so much content, but there's 2 things that you see in comedy. You see either people's material, it could be Matt Rife doing, Ian Bagg, those guys doing their crowd work, or, Mark Norman posting his special or his next special, whatever. Right. Or there's the how to write a joke, right? There's the professors of comedy out there, saying, the breakdown. Yeah, here's the breakdown. Yeah. Here's the rule of 3. Here's the premise and punchline format. There's that. But no one is documenting the grind. No one. If right? I mean, no one's doing it for acting either. Yeah. Right, I dabble in acting, of course, but I'm gonna focus on comedy because that's where my heart really lies. But even with acting, no one's showing the daily grind as a comedian or as an actor, going to audition after audition, getting on the phone, getting on Zoom, doing a Zoomcast, audition. No one's showing that shit. And here's the thing with comedy. No one's showing that. So that's why I started this. And when I started it several years ago, this is what I envisioned. But instead, I got sucked into the YouTube. Hey, let me edit and become an editing god.
Yeah.
And then my editing got really good, but I was following that same, real catchy format.
Yeah.
But it takes days to edit a video like that. And I realized, you know what? I'm just going to do long format. This is a long, windy road. You're not going to become a comedian overnight. You're not going to be famous overnight. You're not going to make those $5,000 checks overnight. It takes time.
They're fun when you do make them, though.
Sure, but it takes time to get there. So why not just document the mundane, the monotonous daily shit that we have to do and have to deal with? There's the good days. You have the bad days. You have the days you don't want to do shit. You have the days where you have, your friend Rick hit you up and say he wants to put your picture on the wall. Love you, Rick. Love you, Rick. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what the next day is going to entail. And I'm glad I'm doing this. And I really appreciate you doing the interview with me, dude. It's little added element to the channel.
Yeah, no, of course, dude. It's really funny because, you're right. You don't know what you're going to encounter. Hollywood's a weird place, man. It's a weird place. And it's not one of those places where you can always take somebody for their word.
Yeah.
You gotta learn that, dude. That's one of those,
sure.
Like, I've been in Hollywood long enough that when someone says something, it's either I'm gonna put your feet to the fire to see if it's true, or I'm very skeptical until I have a contract, until I'm signing it.
Sure.
It's very like, okay, but there are some people out there, if they tell you, there are some good people out there, if they tell you, hey man, come on this day, or hey, I got a role for you, and there are some people that'll pull through it.
Yeah. There
are some people that are, but there are some, like, quote unquote Hollywood people.
Sure.
Call me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. Hit me up. Call me tomorrow. And you know what? Talk about getting you out there with me.
Yeah.
The number you have reached is no longer in service. Jesus Christ. I just texted him last night when he gave me his number right in front of me. Send me a text so you know it's my number. Hi. See? Look, that's my number. Oh, cool. You call him the next day.
Disconnected.
Yeah. The subscriber you are trying to reach. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to his number, dude?
Yeah.
And it was 17 hours. He already changed it. Yeah, so you gotta be careful about some stuff like that too, But this format's great. Yeah, I like it. I've been watching, and I think it's really good, dude. And I hope somebody gets something out of it. Hope there's some kid somewhere, young dude or young girl. When I say young, early 20s, or wants to do this. I hope they see this, and I hope that they know what they're entering. They don't have these grand delusions of what they think it's going to be. It's work. It's a big grind.
It is.
You
have to. I think if you come into it with the intention of you're going to be some big famous person and make millions of dollars, you're going to fail right away. Like, you have to come into it, I think, with the love and just knowing you want to, like, express yourself verbally and love comedy, and over time, like, exploit that. Like, get good first, and then with anything, become good at growing pot, and then you can exploit it.
You know what? Someone told me. Here's what someone told me, dude, and I didn't want to believe it, but someone told me it's gonna take 10 years. It takes 10 years before you get it. And I didn't want to believe that, dude. Yeah. Because in my first few years of when I started, And by the time I got my first acting job, first time I was on a billboard, like it moved fast for me.
Yeah.
Like it was like boom, 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 boom. It started moving quick. And I was like, oh, this 10-year crap, oh, he's full of shit, you know? But now that I've been doing it, 13 plus years, when you hit that 10-year, 11-year mark, there's a different kind of confidence that comes over you.
I can see that.
There's a way,
because I've only been doing this for 5 years, and I feel like I'm light years beyond where I was from year one.
Yeah.
But I still feel that I'm lacking this confidence, and it doesn't mean I'm scared when I walk up on stage. I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Not nervous about it anymore. I go up, know what I'm going to do. I'm starting to interact with the audience a lot more.
Yeah, I've seen
and
that.
just get up there and have a lot of fun. But I still walk away every night going like, I'm still missing something. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to find it. It could be year 8. It could be year 12. I know I'll find it. I don't know what that is, but I know I want to find it, and I keep working at it.
That's the key, though, because just because you've been doing it 10 years or just because you've been doing it 15 years doesn't make you funny.
Yeah.
It teaches you some tricks. You learn some trades. You learn some how to do certain things, but it doesn't guarantee you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you put in the work, there is a sense after year 10, year 11, there is this, it's hard to explain, but there is this thing that comes over you where, you just, confidence, repetition, you just know, year 5, I couldn't eat before I went to a show. No, are you kidding me?
Oh, vomit.
No, I used to throw up. I'm telling you, bro.
I've seen you throw up.
Yeah, dude. You're talking about. Oh my god. Oh no, I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
The show's at 8:00. I better eat at 11 a.m. so I can have an empty stomach before. But now, you get at this point, I'm like, they're like, hey, you're up next. And I'm like, eating.
Yeah.
How much time do I have? You know what I mean? I'll be right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like a weird thing where you're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to just get up and do it. And you could just get up and do it.
All right, man. I'm going to wrap this up real quick.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here. Guys, this is my buddy Miguel Rojas. Make sure you keep an eye out on him, man. He's going to be doing some huge things in the next few years. I am very certain of that. And if not, we'll check back with it in a few years and be like, dude, what the hell is your problem? Right. But thank you so much for checking out the interview, the podcast, the YouTube channel. There's a lot of great information on the channel. We got lots of funny videos coming out. There's the daily vlog if you want to see what it takes to grind out shit every day, and some wonderful interviews. So thank you so much for checking in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.